My name is Harshad, and my special guest is highly experienced consultant helping people and organization to achieve digitalization using softwares. Founder and CEO of KBP Solution, Klaus, a big welcome and so happy to host you today.
Thank you very much, Harsh, and I'm happy to be in this interview. From my perspective, I'm always happy to collaborate with any kind of companies, any kind of people in all over the world, since we are very international. We are on nearly all the continents, and that makes me willing to talk to any kind of people, whatever race, whatever religion, whatever color, whatever mind, whatever political mind. So we are very open to discuss with everyone.
Very wise. Klaus, please tell us a bit more about your journey. How were you like as a child and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, my journey is quite a strange one because when I was small, I'm talking about small, really 3 years, 4 years old, my mom got divorced and my dad went to Australia and he disappeared forever. My mom got married the second time, was a Turkish citizen. So he was just an immigrant from Turkey. And we moved over to Turkey when I was 4 years old. And my grandpa, my grandma, my mom, my stepfather, we all moved over. And then there was my step brother coming in Turkey. So he was born in Turkey. I joined the Turkish school, first, second, and third class. That's the reason why I'm talking perfectly Turkish. And I have been educated on the Quran and on the Bible. That shows you that I'm a very open mind on religions, on everything. And from this point, that was a big experience. I grew up with 3 languages, English, Turkish, and German, and had a very open, mind in this part. We came back to Germany and I started working as different, let's say, jobs, first in the construction areas, and I made an education in Bosch for mechanical engineering. I went to the military. I had 8 years of military. So I was in the special forces in Germany and military. I have been transferred into Italy, to Sardinia, Decimo Manu, which is a NATO base, OTAN base with 4 nationals. I have been spending 4 years over there, was responsible for 35 Italian employees and American, British, Italian, and German employees, and learned very fast the language. And meanwhile, I had also an education in Taekwondo. So I'm quite a professional Taekwondo fighter. I was German champion, European champion in Taekwondo, and had my Taekwondo schools, which formed my capabilities to talk to people, to be sensible with people, to educate, to grow people. So that's base where it comes from. And then I started my professional career in different places of Germany. I have been living for my 60 years. I'm now 60 years. I just became 1st March was my birthday, 60 years. And more than 30 years of this life I have been spending abroad. So I lived in Singapore, I lived in Spain, I lived in Turkey, as I said. I lived 2 times in Italy, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Chile, different places in Germany. So that made me a little bit being cosmopolitan. And it was always in the construction field. So whatever construction you can imagine, I was into that and leading positions on very, very big companies. It can be seen in my CV where I have been. But the most impact for me was that I was always looking to improve processes and how to get the process somehow more effective. And this brought me, because my company KVP found 23 years ago, so in 99. And from there, I did management consulting, so implementing processes, implementing software, implementing certain things, and all over the world, by the way. And I found out that the best way today to do the implementing of new processes, the effectiveness of processes is using the right software. And that made us, together with my son, having different companies. We have a company which is called Digitus. We have a company which is called Fentu. We got a company which is software advisory. We got a company which is Inc. IT Solutions in partnership with another company in Australia. So this is all about software, software advising, software implementation, those kind of things, from very big ERP systems as far as SAP, S/4HANA is concerned, Oracle, CRM systems, FSM systems, and some other programs.
Gotcha. Klaus, please tell us a bit more about, because you have got so many sister companies under KVP, right? Please tell us a bit more about the objectives that these sister companies solve and your vision with them.
Yes, since I'm coming from the KVP part, which is purely management consulting, which is very stiff, I would say, very stiff, because you talk to people, you talk about what is their sales, what is their logistics, what is their whatever. So you help people to improve those kind of things. But this doesn't make you be a specialist in marketing. So we did Digitus as a special digital marketing lead generation company, which we are using as well all over the world. So we do not only for software companies, we do that for coaching companies, we do it for like Six Sigma companies, for people who are doing in the automotive, different certifications. So in different applications, because once you know what is a lead, an MQL, an SQL, and how to generate that with the multimedia you have as possibilities, like Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Sales Navigator, email marketing, with inbound, outbound, with SEO, with landing pages. So then you can create a value for someone, which is not management consulting, which is a different place. So, and since my son comes from the SAP side, he was 10 years a leader in SAP in Waldorf in Germany and in Singapore. I associated together with my son 10 years ago, and we created all these companies together. So it's not just my point, it's the combination of a software and program genius on this hand, a 34-year-old youngster, my son, and myself as I would say, process guru like the dinosaur. So we combined all these both things, and this is a very strong tool because we are talking to different generations and different, let's say, education levels, different languages.
Definitely. And that's very brilliant. You have your own core set of expertise, then coupling the expertise of your son together and expanding, that's very intelligent. And please tell us a bit more about the team hierarchy right now. How many people do you have and what exactly the hierarchy looks like?
Yeah, when you talk about the KVP, what is KVP? KVP basically stands for 3 people. It's myself, my son, and my wife. And this is a holding structure. And then we have the KVP in Chile. There's another 7 people over there. Then we have the KVP in Singapore, which is another 5 people. Then we have the Digitus. We are talking about the digital marketing. We are talking about 30 people. Then we have the FENTU, which is the FSM application. We are talking about another 8 people. Then we are talking about software advisory, another 7 people. And then we are talking about Inc. IT solutions. There we have 240 people in total. So 240 people, just consultants doing implementations of software. And they are mainly outsourced, let's say insourced, because they are on our full payroll in India, in Sri Lanka, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Philippines, in Australia. So all these people are experts in different fields of implementation of software.
Gotcha. And as a KVP group, like who's an ideal fit as a client to you?
For us, the KVP client, with the KVP, we are treating only in the building industry. I would say 95%. We have also companies in the railway industry, in the automotive, but it's not what we are looking for. It's the people coming to us. They have a problem and we solve the problem. But we are going ideally to main contractors. We are going ideally to facade manufacturers, window manufacturers, door manufacturers, all over the world. So this is KVP, 30 years of knowledge, because I have been in this field 30 years. So I know nearly everyone which has any relation to certain aspects of this. I have been founder of normative institution, so normation institutions in Mexico, in Germany, in Spain, in Brazil. So I know many people in this field. I know the most largest competitors, because I have been working for the largest competitors, which are today my competitors sometimes, and created a kind of a, let's say, relationship that I'm respected and they respected from myself. So this is our target field where we offer our services as KVP with software and with process optimization.
Gotcha. And
but
also,
if we are looking into the digitals, we are talking about the vendors. I'm talking about Young, Delaware, Capgemini, NTT, Atos. So it's a very, very big, reseller of SAP or Oracle or HubSpot or Salesforce. These are our customers in regard of digital marketing and lead generation.
Gotcha. And what all tools do you use for your own consulting firm and your sister companies? Which ERP or automation or CRMs that you personally use and prefer?
We basically, for ourselves, we are using SAP Business One because of our size. Yep. And we are using Acumatica, which is Lexware in Germany. That means we are using this ERP system.
Yep.
And we are using CRM systems only HubSpot. So we are diamond partner of HubSpot, and we do a lot of implementation of HubSpot. And of course, when we do the entire marketing and lead generation and social media, so everything is done with HubSpot. So email marketing, everything with HubSpot.
Gotcha. So, because you have partnered with HubSpot and you are a diamond agency partner of them, HubSpot basically spreads a lot of word and emphasis onto inbound marketing. So your sister company, which is involved into digital marketing, does that deal with only inbound, or do you still practice the outbound practices?
We are doing the full range. We are doing business development, we are doing inbound, we are doing outbound, we are doing marketing related activities such as events. So everything is done with our company. Oh. The full marketing globe. We do SEOs, we do Google ads, we do media ads. Everything is done with this. And we control all that with HubSpot.
Oh, nice. Brilliant. I'm just curious now, Klaus, when you get a new client on board, which all common inbound or outbound practices do you actually get into at an initial phase? And then I know you must be exploring tons of other options, tons of other new strategies. What are those common few things that you get started and, warmed up with?
Yeah, first of all, every client is different. So there's not really the 100. When I'm talking about digitalization and I talk to 20 people about digitalization, I get 21 answers. So what they feel, what is digitalization for them? But what is our offer is that we, first of all, list what people want to achieve, whether they want to have a target market, just a small bunch of companies they want to concentrate and they want to go really deep into it, or whether they want to go with a pumpkin and say, we would like to have an industry full scale research and full reach to this industry. So that's totally different.
Yep. I agree. But what if enterprise level client and say something where you have core expertise into the construction business, right? What about them? Fairly size or a large size client you get on board, what all tactics do you go after at an initial phase?
First of all, we don't have any tactics on that because our tactics is first to listen to the client. So this is a first initial tactic, because when you listen to the client, he will express you his feelings and he will express what kind of problems he has, what are their pain points. And many times we come with the pain point, and from the pain point we develop, does he has an ERP problem, a CRM problem, an FSM problem, an HR problem, a logistic problem, a manufacturing problem, just a sales problem. And every problem has different ways how to tackle that.
Yep, true.
And once we have understood his problem, then we go into the process. What is your actual process today? What you are ready to change on that? Because I'm also educated as a change manager.
Yep.
So that means we do the coaching, change management, and consulting approach. So it's not only one approach. We listen like a coach. We ask a question like a coach. Yep. We lead people into it like a change management, and we consult with our knowledge.
Gotcha.
But the consulting comes always last. Because first, before you can consult, you have to listen carefully.
That's true. That's true. I completely agree, Klaus. And one of the biggest thing is, and I wanted to know your, based on to your experience, how you deal with it. When any organization tries to adapt a new system, right, just to optimize any of their process, right? It could be anything. The change always causes a lot of chaos. There'll be always tons of internal employees who will face issues of adaptability of the new system. How do you deal with that?
This is the most important point, because you can put the best software onto the best process.
Yep.
If the people are not buying in, it's useless. So that this is a change management part with the ATKA building, which we are doing. We have to get the different stages of people. So that means first is the information. Informing people that something is going on, what is going on, why it is going on, to get the buy-in of people. Then you have to get champions into it. Then you have to train people. Then you have to do further events, festivate, cultivate the success, So, because if you do not show success and if you don't make a party whenever it happens, people feel like, it's normal. And why would I work my ass off? Sorry for the language, So they would like to get involved into it. And whatever party you make, whatever success you produce, how you communicate this to the entire organization, this is key. That's a very important point to get everyone onto the boat. Because you have always in an organization 1, 2, 10, 20, which say, I don't want, or I can't. So you have to get them on board, and it's not an option to throw them away.
True.
Yeah? And this is a coaching, because many times when I'm really not getting further with certain people which are blocking the process, I put my ladies, coaches, into the pot, and we get one-to-one or group meetings with coaches. Really, 2 or 6 coaching meetings, breaking the ice, and then I can do the change management again, and then I can do the consulting again.
Gotcha. Any other hindrances that you face, any common challenges that you face while implementing a new solution in an organization, apart from the adaptability issue that we just talked about?
Time. Number one is time. That people do not have really the time. They have the demand to do automatization. They have the demand to do digitalization, but they don't have the time. I have so many companies, they call me and ask me, so how much of a challenge, how much time we would need, how much resources we have to dedicate to do this step, and then say, oh, let me wait 1 more year, or let me wait 2 more years. So the number one is time.
Gotcha.
The second is that the one who is running it knows exactly what he wants. Because there are a lot of desires.
Definitely.
And I can see in many organizations, they just build islands. So they get a budget, $100,000, and say, okay, buy a CRM or buy a FSM or do an upgrade on ERP. But they don't think about the entire process in the company. So they build new islands. They have no connection from one to another software. And then you have a problem that you have multiple data entries. Not everyone has access to everywhere, and people get frustrated. And the third part is definitely the teaching, the education. So time, knowledge, what to do, and then education. So training. I know I started a long time ago. I did do Excel course. I was really good in Excel. I was programming with Excel. I was calculating everything. I didn't do Excel for 2 years. I didn't know anything anymore. I had to start again. And then a new version is coming. So, I don't find the right button at the right place. You're out. So you have to do continuous trainings. That's very important.
And Klaus, in your experience, do these companies even know, like at an initial phase at least? I'm sure they must be clear on the objective, what they want to achieve. But I'm sure they don't know about what kind of solution they're exactly looking for, which can actually help them facilitate the goal they want to achieve altogether, right? How do you go about that? How do you go about that diagnosis? And then, coming up with the perfect tool because you actually partner with so many tools and giving them that solution altogether.
First is that there's no perfect tool at all, which might be today perfect, tomorrow it's already out. So it's just a photography. The perfect time is a photography when you achieved it, but you may not achieve it even. Yeah. So that's number one. And what is the possibility to get people closer to this? Doing a nice request. So a request form, leading them through the questions you want to bring, and then show options. Because we are not a vendor of SAP. We are not a vendor of HubSpot. We are not a vendor of whatever software. We are providing the right solution to the right application, to the right budget, to the right people. So if you look at these different steps, you will never make only one suggestion. So you give options. Yeah. So you collect the data, you say, okay, from this 200 possibilities, there are 5 which are matching more or less to you. Now let's choose together. Yeah. Because once you put the pot on top of a hat, he feels like it's put on my head. But once he selects it by himself, he says, it was my choice.
I think, Klaus, one more thing that I would like to know your opinion on was a lot of even the entry level companies have started to adapt CRM and these automation tools altogether, at a very entry stage. Earlier, it was more about mid-size or large companies who were kind of putting down their budget and investing onto such system. But because more and more companies are getting into it, in your experience, what are the common mistakes that you see companies make when it comes to using CRMs and automation?
The largest mistake made is thinking at the beginning too big. So you want to have like a Salesforce, which is the flagship, and you want it, because everyone talks about it. Yep. And you say, yeah, but my organization cannot really handle it. Number one, price-wise. Number two, complexity-wise. Number three, from the functions in there, which are not really dedicated to the industry completely. What we many, many times do is there are many different softwares in FSM and CRM. In ERP, not that much, but they are free of cost. HubSpot. In our Fentu, you have a starter package, it's free of charge. So you start building your knowledge, you start smelling, tasting, touching it, and then you say, oh, it's easy to handle. I like the UI. And these are certain points in there which is more to my industry, because you can go to the butcher and you can go to the baker. The butcher needs something different than a baker. Yeah? Sure. So if you don't have the specifics, he doesn't feel home. And you have to make this kind of things somehow with small, slice and dice appetizers, Yeah. And we are a friend of spending less money, starting slower, but then getting the right stuff, rather than going for one big hundreds of thousands or millions of investment and then 5 years implementation. And after 5 years, it's already not up to date anymore, So step by step.
Gotcha.
Even for larger organizations. So we did that for a really large organization, like 4,000, 5,000 people implementing CRM systems, FSM systems. We said, why don't you start with one department first? Yes. And then you have your master drivers and you have your people who knows it, and they can start bringing it into your organization. So it's better they bring it into organizations than we bring it. We can do that together.
Gotcha. Klaus, one more thing, it's a bit off context though, but one of the main things that any business suffers, and anyone who's doing marketing and has different sales department in their organization, is to build a good synergy between top to the bottom of the funnel activities. Any tips that you can share based on your experience so far that can help companies bring that in line?
Yeah, I can give you a little story on that. It's just a recent story. We signed the contract in October with a company from Mexico. I don't say what company, what is it doing, but the expectation was that we do a 6 months inbound, outbound lead generation and awareness campaign. So we started and we said, in first months, we are not going to do anything because we just do the setup. We are doing the setup of HubSpot. We are doing the email setup. We are doing the sales navigator setup. We are doing which industry, which stakeholder, whatever, And then they came on and said, yeah, but we have in 14 days, we have a webinar and we want you to promote that. We said, no, it's not. It's too early. We are not yet ready. They pushed us to do that. And they wanted us to do the right post. Then we did the post. And they came up and said, yeah, but the post doesn't look like we want. So it's not our expectation. We would like to have a lot of pictures in it, a lot of whatever in it. And we said, yeah, but if we do then a mailing campaign, the opening rates, the bounce rates, it will suffer. No, we want it this way. And finally, in January, we said, you know what? Do your marketing by yourself. We don't want to do that because it's not going to be a success. And it was a big contract, But we said, no, it will fail when you push us into a way which we don't believe, and we are the experts. You came to us to make your marketing. Why don't you make your marketing by yourself,
Yeah, makes sense. That's actually very wise. And, a lot of agencies kind of work a way around, even though it doesn't suit them well, and work for the companies the way they want the marketing agencies to act, and which is not wise, to be honest. You should always see what fits best for your agency. As a client as well, you should do your scrutiny instead of making your workforce life, miserable, and yours too. Like, just be selective about it. It's fine. There are always ways, don't find synergies, and which is normal, right? So
yeah, we had another very nice experience on that. It was a company of India, for example, very, very, very big company in India. We were supposed to do a marketing lead generation campaign, but very specific, on very specific industries, very specific size of companies, of very specific software parts, only parts. And we were bringing leads. So we brought like 10, 12 leads a month, which is big on this because every contract for this lead is 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. So we really bought big things. And I said, no, it's not in the right city. We don't have so much impact in this city in India. Oh no, this is somehow not the right size because they are a little too big. Oh no, there's a little too small. So we talk about band. The band creation was done, and then they went around and said cherry picking. So this will not work. It will not work. So you cannot change the rules of a football game during the 90 minutes of football game,
True. And even if this is much more related to the targeting, and that's something very initial exploratory call, your agency must be doing it, right? Setting up the right target audience, and I've spoken before, right, about it. So, yep, makes sense. Let's talk a bit more because, you are so much into training and coaching, right? How do you basically help companies convert leads to the actual clients? What your sales enablement process looks like?
Yeah, first of all, you have to identify what is a lead. So we start from a prospect. A prospect is somehow a definition either of a client or an industry or a region or whatever. There are prospects.
Yeah.
From the prospects, you have to define first what is an MQL, marketing qualified lead. Yeah. An MQL is not a sales qualified lead. So it's just from intent data or from cookies or wherever there was an interest.
Yeah.
But still you don't know, are they going to have this interest within the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? Do they have a budget? Are you talking about the right person who is a decision maker? Yeah. So how many licenses would they need? What is their pain point? So from marketing qualified leads, you go to sales qualified leads. But then you have to get this sales qualified lead also being interested to talk to you or to your partner for whom you do the lead generation. Gotcha. They may say, no, we don't want to work with company X because they are famous, they are expensive, or they are famous, they are complicated, or whatever. So you have a sales qualified lead, but it's not a sales qualified lead.
Yeah.
Sure. So it's very important to make first a differentiation. And once you talk to your client, you really have to make sure what is your band, what is the expectation.
Yeah.
So this is number one clue. Otherwise, you are just getting shockings,
Yeah, sure.
And to qualify, first of all, you need people which are qualified. So when my call-out center, we have different call-out people in India, in Philippines, in Malaysia, in Australia, Singapore, Germany, Colombia, Chile, and maybe some other countries. So when this call-out people get a new task, first they need 4 weeks education.
Yeah.
So what is the service or the product?
Yeah.
What is the band? What is the industry specifics? What is the stakeholders specific? Are we talking about CEOs or CIOs or CFOs, or because everyone has a different language?
Yeah.
So you cannot just pick up the phone saying, "Hello, sir, would you need a ERP system?" Clack, hang on.
True.
Yeah? So you have to get engagement. You have to know, you make a research in the internet, on the website, on Google, on LinkedIn. What is the person you're talking? How long is he in the position? Why he is in the position? So get circumstance, get intercommunication with people. That's a very important point. You have to engage. And then you get to pain points. And when you get to pain points, you get to solutions.
Yeah, true.
So, and this is a success factor of our company, because most people or most companies, they use only call-out centers. They give a five-question script. And if they answer all yes, it's a sales qualified lead. But frankly speaking, after the second question, they say 3 times more yes just to hang up.
Yeah. I completely agree with you on this front, because when the point of contact isn't well educated about the product, definitely they do not know how to tackle with the incoming. A small script wouldn't just cut it, especially when the product value is high. In those scenarios, are definitely you need to know inside and out. So yeah, makes sense. Klaus, one more thing. Since you have been in industry for so long, the consulting business has been in business for around 23 years now. Please talk a bit more about your most successful case studies for your business, where you have particularly helped a business reach to all new height with your consulting and coaching.
There are so many different case studies. First of all, is in the management consulting, my case studies are all product-based. Okay. Product-based, but not on the software. It's on the products.
Okay.
The products, which is a profile, which is a window, which is a facade, which is a door, which is a hardware. So here you have to have, in the case study, first of all, the deep knowledge about the product base.
Yep.
And the industry. And then you can make in the case study, so what is the regional or the global demand on those kind of things, and what are the competitors are doing? So you do the case study based on this, and then you get people doing exactly what it's needed to be outstanding, because the most important thing is to be outstanding in this part.
Yeah.
If you are doing software, it's not the outstanding. It's to be at the right time, at the right place, with the right people to make the right statements.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very much different if you talk about the hardware or window or the product or software. So the case study in software for us, we have beautiful case studies where people have been working. I'm taking an FSM case study, just simple. We got into a company. They said we are now 25 people in installation, maintenance, and service, and we have grown from 7 to 25. And we are really crazy about the paperwork, and we do not know anymore who is who and where, and does he have the right capabilities to do the job. So we said, so why would you need now change anything? And the question was, he wants to make it more effective. There's many things. Using Excel, you can do more effective. But he said, no, my effectiveness comes because my suppliers asked me to do reportings. And here's the case study, very important. It's not that you make a small team more effective, it's to get the entire team more effective. So today, he is doing the work of insight planification only with one person, before was 3 persons, and he does 2 installations a day or services more because he can plan as well certain things which are coming, like there's a door not opening and he is very close to it and he gets a signal on his mobile, and he can go as well over there on the way back. So he does more work. So the case study is not with Excel planning something, also the reactive part. You act and you can react fastly. And this is a very important point, the action and reaction and the reporting to the suppliers to make it a circle. That makes the success being somehow a big case study. Or if you look into CRM systems, we had a consultant company, just a small consultant company, 5 people. He said, I'm doing like 7,000, 8,000 email marketing months. I don't know who has opened my mails, how many times he looked at it, whether he went to my website. I cannot track all that.
So this was like cold outreach emails?
Cold outreach, yeah. So we helped him to get organized, that he got the warnings whenever he got interactions, and he could do the call more professional with much more depth.
Oh. Just curious, what tools did you advise him?
We got Sales Navigator and HubSpot. That's it.
Oh, nice.
Very effective, very cost effective. And for him, he was 20 times more efficient. 20 times.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So these are the small, and I can talk about big ones, but case studies, you need 30 minutes, 40 minutes of a story build-up, But you can see only with small things, you just scale it up for big things. It's tremendous. We have one company, which is a multinational company, very, very big company. They started with 1 unit of their installers to do the installation with our FSM system. And they got direct connection to their ERP. So we got connection to the ERP, which is not that easy usually. And we got the reportings back and forth up to the invoicing and the after-sales service. They realized that they have a potential to do that not only with this company, to do it with 280 more companies. So just imagine they got with one company 5 times more efficient, and how many 100 times more 5 times efficient.
Yep. That's brilliant. And Klaus, any horror story that you would like to share and a lesson that you learned? I'm sure like so many years that you've spent with your consulting and coaching, there must be something, some horrible incident that happened. And please tell us that.
Yes, I have one nice story, which is a kind of a Waterloo, I would say. We went into one big project. It's a company in Munich, big company. They have been working with us the last 18 months on total landscape of the software. So we are talking about SAP for HANA. We are talking in different branches in China, in India, in Russia, and wherever. SAP Business One. We are talking about implementation of HubSpot. We are talking about implementation of laboratory software. We are talking different scopes. So it's a real project. And we have been working with these guys very hand in hand for nearly 18 months. And then they got bought by an American company. And there came a new head, and he said, for the time being, we are going to solve that only with Excel and...
Oh, that's horrible.
Can you just imagine? And it's a company of 3,000 people,
Oh, God.
So this is something, you have a lot of effort, you have a lot of trust, you are already nearly into the implementation, and then suddenly comes a change, a mind change, plop, cut. This is a Waterloo. A lot of investment, a lot of very beautiful moments, and then nothing. And this is also consultancy.
Yep. A lot of marketing consultants and agencies face troubles like these. Like it's way too common now. Like even in my past experience, I've been involved into tons of marketing agencies, and happens like all of a sudden everything's like going fine, campaigns are running smooth, posting good results, and all of a sudden some or the other factor would result into total shutdown of the operation. And you're just sitting there and wondering what exactly happened and trying to get the client back, but sometimes it's all end of the road altogether.
But that's something I learned in my 30 years career and or 23 years of consultancy. Don't try to get people back. Either they come back or they better stay away. Because you try to get them back, you are going to be the loser.
That's wise. I think, Klaus, let's do a quick rapid fire. Are you ready for that?
Sure.
Yeah. What motivates you the most?
The most motivation is when I see a happy client.
Oh, nice. At what age were you the happiest and why?
Probably with the age of 60 now, I'm the happiest because I'm still very active sports-wise. I have a wonderful family. I have a successor as my son. I have beautiful clients who are giving me a lot of compliments. So I can do whatever I want, and I can even say to clients, no.
That's the best luxury you can have.
Yes, I couldn't do that when I was 30 or 40. So that's the reason why I feel now the best, probably.
Yeah, nice, nice. What career did you dream of having as a kid?
What I was dreaming to travel.
And you did. You traveled so much.
I lived 30 years abroad and I'm traveling. Last year, I was traveling even during the pandemic, at least 7 times for longer than 1 week and many times for 1 or 2 days. So happy, realized it.
Nice, nice. It's a blessed life then. One word that describes you the best.
What me describes as the best?
Yeah, one word that describes you the best.
That's very strong. I really have to think about that. Love.
And what's your next big goal in life?
My next goal in life is to hand over in 5 to 10 years to my son.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Klaus. Thank you for all the wisdom that you have shared. I'm sure the viewers will get a lot of benefit watching this. And I really appreciate all the time. Thank you so much.